Hello, my name is James Batchelor and Snow's Kia and I are going to show you around the new Kia EV6. Now the EV part of the name gives the game away because the EV6 is an all-electric car. It's an important one too because it follows on from the Soul EV and the e-Niro, two cars that have been very successful for Kia in the electric car market. The key difference with the EV6, however, is that this was designed to be an electric car from the very outset. Now in many ways the EV6 marks an exciting new chapter for Kia. As such, it wears Kia's brand new logo on the nose, and the styling is a big departure from what we've come to expect from Kia from the past few years. There's a bold new face, there's a coupe-like roofline, and the lights at the back, the way they are sharply angled, looks fantastic. It's also got a bit of a crossover-like stance to it, what with its raised ride height as well, hasn't it? I think it looks fantastic. Now that new age Kia feeling continues in here as well because the interior ambience is fantastic. The build quality is really good. Everything feels really nicely screwed together, and there's lots of nice little design touches in here as well. There's the floating console with its huge storage bin underneath, and there's this touch sensitive panel here. It means you can easily flip between the media controls and the air conditioning controls as well. You get a huge amount of equipment thrown in on the EV6 as well. Every single model comes with this curved screen in front of you with a touchscreen sat-nav. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get a heated steering wheel and heated seats. You also get a vegan interior. 19-inch wheels are thrown in as well, and there's cruise control with stop and go. The top spec cars are loaded with even more equipment, including fully reclining front seats, which allow you to have a rest while the car is charging. Now, talking of charging, the EV6 has a pretty clever feature up its sleeve. Now, mid-spec models and above, if you open the charging port, you're able to connect a special adapter. It's called vehicle to grid, and it means that you're able to charge up other items from your EV6. It could be an electric kettle if you're going camping, it could be an electric bike, or it could even be another car. It's pretty clever, isn't it? While we're at the back, let's look at the boot space. Now, in the EV6, you get a pretty decent sized boot for your money actually, and because it's a hatchback tailgate, it means loading items in and out is really very straightforward. Under the floor, there's a nifty little area for your charging cables, and because this car hasn't got an engine under the bonnet, there's even more storage under there as well. Now, in terms of space in the back, well, six-footers will easily be able to fit in there. There's loads of headroom, and would you just look at the amount of knee room that you've got. There are limo-like levels of space back there. And because this car was designed to be an electric car from the very outset, there's no transmission tunnel either. It means there's a completely flat floor back there. Right then, that's enough for the chatter. Let's get this car out on the road. Now for the time being, there are just two versions of the EV6. There's the single motor car with power going to the rear wheels, and that has 226 brake horsepower. And then there's the dual motor car with an extra motor on the front axle, giving it four-wheel drive. Total power for that is 321 brake horsepower. Now coming later in 2022, there's an EV6 GT with a Porsche Taycan rivaling 577 brake horsepower, and all of the EV6 models get a 72.4 kilowatt hour battery. Now we've got the dual motor car here with 321 brake horsepower, and put your foot on the throttle and away you go. I mean, acceleration response is very, very impressive. Now, Kia have set the EV6 up to be quite a fun driving electric car, so the ride is a little bit firm. Now, I don't mean it's uncomfortable, it just means that when you put this car into a corner, the body doesn't lollop around. There is very little body roll, coupled with really quite light and accurate steering, and the EV6 is really good to drive. Not only is it fun, it's pretty quiet and refined as well. These seats are very, very comfortable. You sit up quite high as well for a fantastic view out. And it means that this car is fun to drive, but also very relaxed if you're just commuting up and down the motorway, for example. Now, this may be quite a sporty EV to drive, and you might think these paddles behind the steering wheel, they're to do with the gearbox. But of course, this is an electric car, it doesn't have a gearbox. So what are they? Well, they control the regenerative brakes. If you tug on the left paddle, it increases the level of regeneration, and if you pull on the right paddle, it reduces the level of brake regeneration. Now, what's the point of brake regeneration? Well, when you're braking in a normal car, that energy turns into heat and you lose it. But in an electric car, such as the EV6, the regenerative brakes, they store that energy and put it into the battery. So while you're driving along, you're effectively charging the battery. Now, the EV6 has something called 800 volt charging. Now, not many cars in the UK currently have it, and what it does is it allows you to take advantage of super fast, rapid charging. Now, if you plug the EV6 into a 350 kilowatt charging point, you can get an 80% top up in, wait for it, 18 minutes. Yes, that's right, 18 minutes. Now, 350 kilowatt chargers are very few and far between. What you're more likely to find are 50 kilowatt chargers at the side of the road. And even when you plug into one of those, a 80% top up in this car only takes just over an hour. More often than not, you're probably going to be charging this car at home from a 7.2 kilowatt home wall box. And if you do that, a full charge takes just over 12 hours. Now, unlike a lot of cars with blind spot monitoring that just flash a little light in the A-pillar here, Kia does it differently. So there's a little camera in both of the mirrors. So when you put the indicator on, for example, my right indicator, a little camera feed comes up in my display here, showing me exactly what is in my blind spot. I mean, it's stuff like that that's not just clever, but it's life-saving technology. So the EV6 is great to drive, it's got a lovely interior, it's packed with the latest battery technology, and because it's a Kia, it comes with an award-winning 7-year warranty. What's not to love? That is the Kia EV6. For any more information or to take a test drive, contact your local Snows Kia dealership in Guildford, Basingstoke and Newbury.